What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA, and yeah, coming across this Minions stuff and just reading up on it all day. Let me tell you right now, Minions is shining a huge spotlight on the entire Hollywood industry, along with Top Gun Maverick and to like a lesser extent Jurassic World. But you know, hey, entertain the fans, folks. That's what you got to do. Hollywood, you got to get out here and entertain people. You got to get away from your messages. You got to get away from all the things that you feel personally. And you just got to say, hey, our job is to entertain fans. And if we're not entertaining our audience, they're going to let us know by not coming to our films. You see this going on with Netflix. You see this going on with Disney and its stock prices. But here you got Universal, Minions, The Rise of Gru, Jurassic World making money, and a lot of these other films ain't making money. So hey, you got to start thinking, maybe we got to, kind of shift things up. Maybe we need to start getting more creative people in here instead of people who aren't as creative, but they have a message that they want to get out there. And nothing wrong with messaging, but like I've said in previous videos, you got to learn how to layer that inside of your entertainment, right? You got to have the entertainment first. That stands first and foremost. Everything else is secondary. But yeah, let's go ahead and check this out. We won't spend too long on this article because I'll be doing the box office breakdown tomorrow where we'll get into deeper detail. But look at this. The animated tentpole confirms that parents and younger kids are ready to return to the multiplex in droves. One of the excuses that they kept pushing out there was that, the reason why nobody saw Lightyear and Lightyear's numbers were down, families are still afraid. Families don't really, want to come back to the theaters, even though Sonic, did $72 million in its opening weekend. But they were trying to use that excuse, and I was like, that's a dumb excuse. That's a terrible excuse. And yeah, this one just proves it. Lightyear only came out like 2 weeks ago, right? And already, this is the thing I want you to look at. So it says here, if you read down a little bit further, right? Talks about how it's doing about 129 million domestically. This is according to early estimates. Some people think it might have a shot of hitting 140 million by the end of Monday. And then overseas, the movie will cross 86 million by Sunday for a global take, $200 million plus. First weekend, right? Where's Lightyear at right now? Meanwhile, over there at Disney, yeah, 164 million, and this is after 2 weekends going into the third, and I guarantee you it's not going to cross $200 million this weekend either. So the Minions will have done what Lightyear couldn't do in 3 weekends in 1 weekend, and that is impressive, don't get me wrong, but it's not as eye-opening as this $164 million that this $200 million movie made in 3 weekends. It's just unbelievable. Like, because you remember my box office prediction, and for an $85 million film, you can see right here you need $213 million to break even. Okay, it is quite possible that the Minions are going to break this in the first weekend. Done, we broke even, we're finished, we've done our job. I mean, that would be absolutely incredible, but also kind of expected when you sit back and think families haven't been able to go to see like a nice fun film for the whole family. You can check out my review. I'll go ahead and link it up there. But I said this, like, man, everybody that I went to this theater with, it was just nothing but kids and families. The theater was absolutely packed. People know and trust this franchise, and they know what they're going to get out of it. And that's why these folks flock to the theaters. We don't know what this Lightyear thing is, but we know what Minions is. We know what Gru is. Let's go check this thing out. So then, of course, it begs the question, like, why is Bob Chapek getting renewed, right? Like, why would you renew this guy? So this article right here, this is from proactiveinvestors.co.uk. And it's talking about basically that, Disney investors have been left grumpy by the 39% slump in the share price this year. Yeah, this thing is losing money left and right, and people are saying, well, if extending Bob Chapek's tenure as Disney boss was designed to reassure markets, the tepid share price reaction suggests few, if any, investors were toasting the news. So yeah, they extended him for 3 years, even though he's embroiled in all kind of nonsense, and it goes into it right here. Comes as Disney remains somewhat entrenched in America's polarizing politics, caught up in the so-called, don't say gay furor in its adopted home of Florida. And it also says here that shareholders are concerned about the dismantling of Walt's preferential tax status for Disney World, and it has lackluster results for their recent financials. So yeah, we understand that because other than Doctor Strange, they've dropped like 3 other movies this year, one of which was Death on the Nile. I forgot that was like a 20th Century Fox film, but that came under the Disney banner. That lost money. Bob's Burgers, that's not doing very well. And then, of course, Lightyear is getting absolutely crushed, and it's about to lose a ton of money. It says here, like, one Twitter user said Bob Chapek is a double agent working for Universal. Like, he ain't even on our side, y'all. Disney's doing things like that companies just should not do at this time. You know, it's talking about, yeah, it's going to lose its tax status because of clashing with the Republican governor, Ron DeSantis, over, you know, state things that they're trying to do. And he was like, well, you know, if you guys don't want to, you know, play ball, well, we'll find some politicians and we'll try to use our influence to kind of change politics. And Ron DeSantis is like, oh, okay, I know what to do about that. Meddling in places that they probably shouldn't be meddling in. The Don't Say Gay bill, you know, at first they was, you know, not saying nothing about it, but then he got talked into saying something about it. It's kind of like the Lightyear same-sex kiss. First they pulled it out, then they put it back in. You know, they're dealing with all of that kind of stuff. And anytime you have folks in the entertainment industry kind of getting overly involved, especially in social politics, cultural issues, it's just going to be a big train wreck, because you're right away dividing your audience between people that agree with you and people that don't agree with you. Instead of just entertaining everybody and saying, hey, we're here to entertain the people of the world, you know, you guys figure all of that other stuff out yourself. Talks about him getting sued by Scarlett Johansson for all of that stuff. Yep, there it goes, talking about flop year and how it's not doing too well. 152 million in sales in its second week of release. And then they, of course, fired the person that everybody expected to be taking Bob Chapek's place eventually. So then you ask, like, why is all of this going down? Why didn't he just fire him? Well, it kind of gives the answer right here at the bottom. And this was something I kind of considered for a minute. Was Bob Chapek's contract renewed so that Disney could sack the CEO at a more convenient time? Possibly true. Possibly true. Because right now, look, this is the stock price right here. All right. And you can just see that they're trying to stop this shit. They are trying to stop all of this that you're looking at right here. Okay. If you go back to earlier this year, it was at $155 a share on January the 4th. Even kind of got up here to about 150, 160, close to that. And now we all the way down up under $100, okay? And if they had fired the CEO of Disney, I guarantee you this thing would have dropped another 10%. So now you're looking at this thing being in the 80s somewhere. Yeah, so in their opinion, they're like, hey, man, we got to stop the bleeding. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can always fire him later. But yeah, we fire him now, you know, that's going to leave some ripple effects. So we can't do that. And at the same time, maybe if we, you know, show some confidence in him, right? Like, yeah, you know, hey, right now we can't do the whole vote of no confidence in Chancellor Valorum, man. We're going to get wiped out. We'll check that later and make sure that, okay, now, you know, it's a good time to fire him. They're, you know, being strategic with that, which I don't blame it. But yeah, the board's not going to keep putting up with this. I can guarantee that right now. Bob Chapek is already kind of getting his resume shined up, getting ready, because they're not going to keep putting up with this stuff, you know? And then you see like these articles that keep coming out. It's talking about like Lightyear flop is a sign audiences are weary of Hollywood wokeness. And it's really just, again, what I was saying is not so much the wokeness, but it's just the inability to entertain people anymore. They are not being entertaining. Whether or not it's woke or not, it's not entertaining, you know? It's like, entertain me first, you know? And that's the problem. I think this article kind of goes through this in this little statement down here at the bottom. It says, it's amusing that members of the entertainment industry often refer to it as the industry, as though they have forgotten the most important word, which is entertainment. Yes, you got to entertain people. But yeah, it goes into basically the idea that, you know, people can have their personal beliefs. You can have beliefs in whatever you want to believe in, and that's fine. But this is the results of what happens when you get away from entertainment and you start trying to say, okay, well, we're going to start trying to use this as a platform to do messaging and things like that. You got your seminars for that. You got all of your other things that you can do in terms of messages. But we come to movies to be entertained. We come to movies to laugh. What did Nicole Kidman say? To laugh, to cry, to this, to that. All in that little AMC commercial at the beginning of everything. That's why we come to these movies. We don't come to the movies to say, hey, you know what? We really need to educate you on how things should be working in society right now. So we're going to give you a message, and hopefully you leave out of here doing things differently. Nah. Entertain me. I'll deal with all of that with my church, with the seminars and my little public speakers that I deal with, and on that level. But anyway, folks, what do you think about this? Bob Chapek getting extended? Are you concerned, or are you saying, yeah, this is just kind of like a smokescreen to keep Walt Disney from just completely plummeting into the abyss? Go ahead and give me your thoughts and your opinions on that. All right, folks, thanks for watching. See you next time.